It's very important that we understand how judges and justices get their jobs and what they do once they get them. Some people hold the view that judges and justices simply compare the facts in a case to precedent, or they lay the Constitution next to it and they make a mechanical decision. Some people have even referred to this as the slot machine theory of justice. So it's just a technical matter. Anybody would make the same decision, or any qualified person would make the same decision. But it turns out that this isn't what is the case at the Supreme Court level. At the lower courts, where they're doing routine decisions, then yes, previous decisions, precedent controls. But at the Supreme Court level, there's much more discretion. One reason is because they're dealing with the vague Constitution itself. And we don't know exactly what free speech means. We don't know what due process of law means. We don't know what equal protection of the law means. So there's a lot of room for interpretation there. The precedents on the controversial issues that the Supreme Court deals with are not so clear. And so what we find is that members of the court on such issues tend to vote consistently with their ideological views, so that liberal justices vote in the liberal direction, conservative justices vote in a conservative direction. The justices not only have discretion in how they interpret the Constitution, but they also have discretion on how active they want to be. And they can choose to overturn other branches of government, to find actions of the President or Congress unconstitutional or not. And there's discretion there. And they can find ways, if they want to, not to find something unconstitutional. We have to decide whether this role of the Supreme Court is acceptable to us. We have to decide whether we need to rein in justices on the Supreme Court or not. We have to understand the stakes involved when a new person is nominated to the Supreme Court, because it can make a very big difference who the person is, because the justices have discretion. If they had no discretion, it wouldn't matter who the person was as long as they were technically competent. But of course, we find substantial division on the Supreme Court on some of the great issues of our time. And as a result, it makes a difference. So it makes a difference if a Democratic president is nominating a justice or a Republican president is nominating a justice. That is precisely why members of the Senate spend so much time on a Supreme Court nomination, and why we have such divided votes on many members of the Supreme Court.